Welcome back to Positive Life. I want to have a conversation about dating. So why do people focus on someone that they're attracted to and they think that I need to be with that person? I'll do anything for them. I'll write poems for them. I'll promise them the world. I'll just do anything to make them happy. So why do they do that? I mean, one reason could be that they've gotten treated bad in the past. They had a bad relationship, or they could have multiple bad relationships. Another factor is that they lack self-value, self-worth. You could say self-value / self-worth, meaning that within them, they don't think that they're good enough for something, that they're not capable, that they haven't achieved certain things. So then when they see someone that they're attracted to, and say if they're looking for a relationship, even if their life is not ready for it. When I say their life is not ready for it, maybe they don't even have a good job, or they don't have finances, like they don't have their own place. They don't have a lot of things. I mean, if they really wanted to make it work, they can, but sometimes their life could be so messy and so problematic that they're just not ready for a relationship, and they think they are. They think that if they get in that relationship, it's going to fix everything in their life, that it's going to magically improve things or correct everything that is going on in their life. And that sometimes they avoid doing self-care. And they do it because they think that is just, it's like almost like they get comfortable with their problems. It's almost like they like to be in that situation of like always falling in that hole. It was almost like that's what they could relate to. That it becomes like toxic or just recurring. It just never improves. So every year could be the same. So self-worth, self-value has a lot to do with why people will focus on physical attraction. That they'll look at somebody and say like, oh, like that's my dream, and if I could get with them and I'll feel better, and then people could see me, and then it starts to get attention to them because they might put on social media that they're everywhere with this person. Everywhere they go, it's almost like they latch onto this person. It's almost like they're driving a car. Okay, so when you drive say if somebody drives a car for the reason of not like because they enjoy the car, like they want a certain car because if it's like a Lamborghini or some type of Porsche or like some type of car that is super fast or is really expensive, then some people just get it because they work hard and they're like, I deserve this. I'm going to buy it because I want to drive it and I want to enjoy it. Whereas other people might get it because they want people to see them in the car, and it gives them like value. It's almost like they're compensating for the value. Like if somebody sees me driving this car, they're going to think I'm successful. They're going to think I'm someone. So that's why the relationships work in that way. When people start to go online, go on social media, and they start to see like some model they like, and there's like a bunch of guys just like leaving all these comments about how great they look and how amazing they are and they're a dream. Or if they see another guy with that girl, they'll be like, oh, that guy's so lucky and he's the luckiest guy in the world. Why is he the luckiest guy in the world? Like, who is this girl? Do you know her? Do you know anything about her? Because she might just show what she wants you to see, that she might not be willing to share that the more vulnerable stuff or her insecurities. Like people throw out that word like you're the luckiest person in the world if you get with that person. It goes both ways for guys and girls. It's not like a guy thing where guys go after girls like they need to be with this girl that they think is like the prettiest girl in the world. And they always use that. They kind of make it like a generic compliment. It's like, I know you heard this before, but you're the most beautiful girl in the world. You're a dream girl, or you're like everyone, like anyone would be just, they'd be happy to have you. And people say like, and then I've seen things even worse that You're the only thing I think about in the morning when I wake up, and I go out to work all day and I think about you, and then when I come home, you're the last thing I think about. And I've seen people do that, where they admit, and they think that maybe that's enough to give them that type of compliment, to make them feel like they're like on top of the world, like this person that they desire, and that they think that is going to be enough to get them. And anybody could do that online. Anybody could write anything hiding behind their phone, their iPad, tablet, computer, whatever they use to communicate online, that anyone could do that. But if they're in person and they see that girl, or the guy sees a girl, or the girl sees a guy, that they will chicken out. And it's not always the case, but some people don't react, that they have fear, and they don't want to just go up to the person and say, hey, like have a conversation and show their interest in that, have an adult conversation. And it's almost like the shy, I'm shy, I'm not comfortable talking, or I need a couple beers, or I need a cocktail drink. It's like they can't get out of their head with all these fears. Like it's almost like because they're shy, they want to be shy the rest of their life. And if you're shy and you want to fix that, and you lost opportunities because you're shy, because you don't go up and step up to the plate, whether it's relationships or success, whatever it may be, if you don't step up to the plate because you have fear, then where are you going to go in life if you can't overcome that fear, or you're afraid of everything? Like, I can't do this, I can't talk to people, or I can't be in public because, like people are going to think things, or I can't give this speech because now everybody's going to judge me, that they're going to be critical of me. That's a problem. Because it comes down to self-worth and self-value. And people show off a lot. Every time they get a new relationship, it's like every new person is like the greatest person on earth, and then they scrub their sites, they scrub their social media of like that person that it didn't work out with. Instead of just leaving it there and showing history, because there is history, because you're with that person, you felt a certain way, and then you scrub your site as if it never existed, and the next person is everything. And then they continue to do it. It's a cycle. It's a cycle. And they do it again and again and again and again. And every new person is the greatest person. It's their dream. And that's a problem. That's a problem. And sometimes people do focus on physical attraction because they're attracted to that person, but there could be other things. Like they could have other interests. Like they could have the same dream. They could have, they like to go hiking, or they like animals, pets, cats. They like to travel. But sometimes someone that you like could be everything. Like they have like interest, but it's not for you. And that's when it comes down to fit, because if it's the right fit for you, and the right fit for them too, because you might do things that they may not like, and maybe they don't want to live that life. Maybe they don't want to travel all over the place and go to museums, or to go to events and all these things. Maybe that's not what they like. They like the slower life, where the other person needs to be in the spotlight, needs people to know that they're famous, or they're successful, or they have some type of value, or whatever is within them that they need to cry out that there's someone. And that comes down to the healing process. Is like if people never heal, and they never work on self-care, and they never heal from past events, so they may blame people. They may blame all their past relationships, like this guy didn't treat me good, this guy didn't treat me good, this boyfriend, husband, whatever. And then it could be the same way with the other way around, where a guy is blaming his ex-wife or his ex-girlfriend for being a narcissist, and that he's so angry and he hates her so much that he needs to go out on a mission to save people from narcissists, to where every single day is about narcissism, and they need to talk about it, and they need to warn people, and they need to save people, and that these people are so evil, and that they're devils and they're demons. That's hate. When people are carrying around hate, that they will become cynical, they will become negative, they will have this negative energy within them. So they never healed from these past relationships. And it could be a million different things that people carry with them, what is in their mind, or something that connects them to something that is negative, and that they're not willing to look at it as a learning experience, a learning lesson, that it was something that helped them grow, because otherwise they would continue down the same road, repeating the same events, getting into the same relationships, doing the same thing. So they should be thanking these people in the past for helping them to identify problems that were holding them back, because they're always putting someone on a pedestal, and that they're so one-dimensional, and that they get obsessed, and they can't focus on anything else but a certain person. So every time someone gives them some attention and they like that person, then they get obsessed with that person. It's like this infatuation, and they can't stop thinking about that person, and they can't stop talking about the person. And it happens when they are in a healing phase, when they're unhappy or depressed, or they're not where they want to be in life, or they don't have support in the relationships, or that the person doesn't listen to them. They don't have a voice. There could be so many things, like where maybe they're not in the place they want to be to live their dream. Like you see this shirt that I have, it says "Chase the dream, not the fame." A Nike shirt that I liked it. I got it at Dick's Sporting Goods. So that's a little sidetracking. So they may want to go after their dream, and the person that they're with is not supportive of that. They don't believe in them. And maybe they wanted to give them an opportunity to live their dream, but they weren't realistic in knowing that dreams just don't happen like in a few years. That dreams take time. But when dreams don't happen, then friends, co-workers, family members, spouses, or significant others will start to lose hope if they don't see you achieving anything, because you're not putting the work in, and all you're doing is talking about it, and everybody knows, like, oh, it's your dream. Everybody knows it's your dream, and you haven't achieved it because for reasons that it's too hard. The industry doesn't see your talent. They don't see your gifts. They don't recognize you. I mean, you're competing against everyone. The world's against you, and that you should have been famous already. I mean, you have to be realistic, and people don't take personal responsibility to be realistic, that relationships didn't work out for a number of reasons, and sometimes it could be you. It could be you, that you have to look inside and know that why didn't it work out, and be realistic and stop blaming every single person that wronged you, that didn't treat you good, that didn't see everything you had to offer. Because it could be that you're attracted to the same people, that it never works out, but then you never change that. You keep going for the same relationships, the same abuse, or people don't support you, or they put you down. They are mentally or physically abusive. They could be narcissists. It's almost like you're drawn to those people. And it could be some stuff from back in childhood, that certain things that happen, you're able to heal. And it comes down to healing again. Healing, if you don't heal, you can get out of relationships, say, oh, I'm done with that relationship. Now I'm going to be with somebody else that's better. And it's going to work out, and it's going to be for the long term. And then it doesn't work out, and then you're crushed again. And then you go find someone else, and you keep doing it over and over again. Famous people could do this. Anyone could do this. Nobody is immune to this. You have to recognize it, to know that I don't need a relationship to be happy. I don't need a relationship to have self-love for myself. I don't need a relationship to treat people good. But you'll be happy to be with someone that's a good fit. And you could both be attracted to each other. There could be like physical attraction on both sides. But if someone wants to go traveling the world and want to do all this stuff, and they just need to travel, and they can't be locked down with all this pandemic stuff, or someone wants to be famous and they need to be in the spotlight, then what if the other person doesn't want that? then it's not a good fit. It doesn't matter if you like each other because you are physically attracted to each other if it's not a good fit. Sometimes we don't want to be with someone that is needing to, like they're so obsessed with doing something that they need something to happen. They need to live somewhere, like in LA, because they need to be an actor or an actress, where the other person doesn't want to be in LA because they don't like that lifestyle. Then it's not going to work. It will never work. Somebody will not be happy if both people are understanding that they love each other and they're willing to make sacrifices, and to know that, okay, I'll give up on my dream because I know that I want to be with this person and they treat me good, and that I could live the long term with them and be happy. But if they're thinking about themselves and it's about only themselves, and it doesn't matter who they step on or drive over or who they throw under the bus, that it's all about them at the end of the day. It's about what they want, what they need, what they're not getting, what they deserve, who they're going to use, who they're going to take advantage of. It's all about them to get where they want to be. And then you don't want to be with a person like that, because you have to be with people that are appreciative, that have gratitude, that are willing to look at you when you're struggling. So say if you're doing good, then you do things for them to help them out of like their jam or their dark times or difficult times, whatever it may be. That when you go through those times, then they come around and they are supportive of you, and that they'll help you because they know the things that you've done for them. And it's not like that you do things so you could get things back in the future. You just do things because they're needed. You buy flowers because you want to make the girl happy. That you just don't, do it because they're asking you. Like, you don't give me flowers, so I wish you would give me flowers. And then they go out and buy it because now they're coerced into doing something that they don't do. It's like either they do it or they don't want to do it. Like if they don't do the dishes or clean up after something or pick up something or put something away or take the trash out or cut the grass or help, go walk the dog or go pick up a nice dinner. Like, if they don't put thought to things, then if you have to tell them to do those things because you wish that they would be done, or you need to tell somebody else that, like, this, somebody doesn't do this for me and I wish it would be done and all that. If you want that, then you're not with the right person. But if that's not important to you, if they do other things that are right, like they work hard and they, they do other things that are good, then sometimes we can't get everything that we want in life. That sometimes we want things so much that it's almost like we chase it so much that we need this relationship, we need these things to happen, we need these things on our checklist. Then we could get unhappy because we're holding out, and then we're overlooking potential opportunities because we're holding out because we need things to be perfect. We need things to be like a dream or fantasy, and it's not like that. Life is not like that. I mean, it could happen. Sometimes we may not believe in a dream. We may not believe that we could be with the perfect person or the perfect fit, and that someone could be everything that we want them to be. And sometimes we might not believe in it, and then it happens. And sometimes it can happen for the people that don't deserve it. That life is not always going to reward good people. That sometimes it rewards bad people. And that's the reality of it, is that sometimes bad people get ahead and they get everything. They could go travel the world. They could dine anywhere they want, and they could get all the attention, but it doesn't mean that they're happy. It doesn't mean like they're accomplished. That when they are alone, they could be thinking about certain things they've done to people, think about where they want to be and they're not going in that direction. That could be lonely. And if you don't achieve something, if you attach your value to say, I'll never love myself if I don't achieve things. If I have to be doing a good job to love myself, and it's not about that. It's like you're breathing air, and that you have this one life, and that there's nature, there's animals, there's so many things to do in this life, and to make a difference, even to help people that are struggling. But you have to have some type of balance, that be like over obsessed. It's almost like having a balance. Say if you're in a relationship and somebody is over obsessed with you, that's a problem. If they're like not even focusing on you, like they really don't care and they don't, and they're on the other side, then that's a problem. But if you have balance, and that works, because sometimes both people could do things and they could trust each other and they could go do things without needing to cling on to that other person and being needy and needing, worrying, oh, is that person cheating? Do they love me? Do they care about me? Or, things like that. Like asking other people, when you have to ask other people, what do you think they're doing? Like, do you think they're cheating on me? Do you think that I'm pretty? Do you think I'm good looking? You have to ask people, because you need them to tell you what you want to hear, because maybe they'll be nice to you. They're not going to tell you what you don't want to hear. Just like the comment sections in social media, where everything seems that it's like a restaurant where there's all these like compliments, because they can remove them. They can remove the bad compliments. They can remove all the stuff that they don't like to make themselves appear, favorable. They can remove that stuff. And the problem is that maybe people should keep that stuff on there. So then it's reality is like, sometimes not everyone's going to accept you. Not everyone's going to love you. Not everyone's going to praise you. Not everyone's going to see that you're amazing, or you're like this famous person, public figure, whatever you wanted to project out there. Is like that you need people to see you because you want them to think you're famous and that you're so important and that this is going to give you value. So it comes back down to self-worth, self-value, healing. If you're not healing yourself, then you're not growing. And it's okay to make mistakes. It's okay to be a failure at times. And that humbles us, that we can't always get everything that we want. That life doesn't always give us everything that we want, and that we have to see the good in life, and that we have to see the blessings, and we have to notice the blessings. That you go to parking spot at a restaurant that you never get, like, thank you, that you got, it was a blessing. Certain things that happen for you, like something happens that some money comes out of nowhere and somebody helps you, or like there's something good that happens that you recognize the blessing. It's not that, oh, like I deserve this, like, oh, thank you, thank you, because it happened for me. People are like in a process of healing, they become like desperate or needy, or it's like they are clingy, because when they're healing, then they know that maybe the relationship ended, and then they feel like what do I have now? I put all these years in this and I lost time. And some people might act that way after a few years, or even, but I can understand if it's like 10 years or 15 years or longer, 20 years more, that they felt like they've done everything great for this person, and they thought everything was going good, and now that person doesn't want to be with them, and now they are struggling with depression, unhappiness, and anger, or it's like they just don't feel like that they feel like they wasted time when they could have been with someone else. And it's a part of life. It's part of the process, is that sometimes you have your good years and you have your bad years, but then you have to see like the good, the positive in things, and to know that just because you want to go with some girl or guy that everyone's going to see and say like, oh wow, like, and they're going to give you attention for that, it doesn't mean you're going to feel good about yourself. Because what if that ends? What if you put all your value in that person and you put them on a pedestal and you walk around clinging on them, hoping that people see them so they know that you're with them and that you're lucky and that you're the luckiest person in the world because you're with that person that everybody desires? I mean, where's that going to get you? Because when you get older, it's not going to even matter, because sometimes looks could fade. And what if you don't have anything else? What if you don't have emotional connection? That you can't establish emotional connection. You're not even a good fit. You could be in a relationship where both have like-minded interests and they like to do everything together, to the point like where they're almost like a reflection in a mirror. That could get played out eventually down the road, because people change, people grow, and they may not want that, to be doing everything with their partner, everything 24/7, where there's like no no break. It's almost like watching a movie and it's just like hitting the throttle, like Fast and the Furious, and just like redlining the car the whole entire movie. Like you need some moments where, you could reflect on life, that you could have some peace, and that you could do things by yourself as well, that you could go to the movies, you could go out to eat with some friends, or you could go out to eat alone. You could go hiking alone or hiking with a friend, but do you have to do everything with your partner? I mean, some people like that. It's okay. I mean, if it's a good fit for you and both sides are in agreement that it's going to work out, then that's okay. But if two people are together, they don't have to be alike. That they could have opposite interests and they could still work, because then there's like, they're not dependent on each other to feel value, that they're confident in themselves and that they have self-value and self-worth, and that they appreciate even loyalty or other things, honesty, or somebody that's reliable, or somebody that cares, or somebody that has a good heart. Like they're looking at other things. So sometimes people want their significant other to say like, oh, I was attracted to you at love at first sight. The thing that attracted me to you was that you were pretty, or you're good looking. It's like they want to hear that because they want people to say that, so then they can feel accepted, like, oh, I'm like good looking and stuff. Or another thing is like, sometimes people don't like to be nice because they're like, I don't like, you like me because I was nice, like, and they don't want to be that nice person all the time, like where only people see that they're nice, because then nice people could be pushovers and that people could take advantage of them. But if it's a quality that they see, then that's good. Like, I mean, do we have to be with someone that says like, oh, you're like, I liked you physically the moment I saw you, like that you just like, you walked in that room and I knew that I was going to marry you or something. I mean, does it have to be that way? It comes out to healing yourself, because if you don't heal yourself, then you're going to get into these relationships that are not going to work out, and then you're going to exit the moment that you're not getting what you want. You're going to exit. It's like you're going to run away, like runaway bride, or you're going to try to get out of that situation, and then you're going to blame those people that because it didn't work out, you didn't get what you wanted. Or it comes down to self-worth or self-value. You could be with the perfect person and it could be a good relationship, but then you need to accomplish something inside. You feel a void, you feel empty, you have this calling or this purpose, and you need to do it, and then they're not supporting you for it because they don't see the reason why you're doing it. Then it could come down to that, and then that could be something that disconnects both sides, and then you don't find this like intersect of like where it can work out, and the other person needs to go because they need to do this. They need to find out for themselves if they're capable of doing this dream, or to do something. They need to, go and volunteer or see the world, and another person doesn't want to do that. They're ready to settle down and just have an easy life. So there could be differences. So when you see someone, don't think that, oh my God, like they're so beautiful or good looking and that they're going to be everything and it's going to make my life so perfect and I could be happy and that I could finally love myself and that they're my happiness. Like if you're not happy, you're not even ready, you don't even love yourself, what makes you think that someone else will do that if you can't do it yourself? That it starts with you. It starts with you, that you need to do self-care to make your life better, to feel better about your life, to feel value, to notice the good things that you've done, to notice who you are, that your identity is a human being and not that you need to accomplish this Hollywood dream, because it will make you valuable. It will make people see you, to notice you, to embrace you. That if you need that and you're attaching yourself to your dream or to relationship because you want people to see you, even if you're like out there and you're a public figure and you're famous and you still want people to see you, then you're like dealing with a crisis inside from dating way back to like childhood. Certain things that happen. It can come down to like you didn't do the dishes, or you did the dishes and then your siblings got them dirty and then you're told that you never do anything, you're lazy, you never do anything, and then you need to go show everyone that look, I did this, and you're at this job, look, I did this, I'm doing good, look. If you're in that type of mode, then then you're in trouble. And you need to heal yourself. You need to do self-care. And when I say self-care, go do the things that make you happy. If you can't go hiking with someone, then go. If somebody cancels on you, then go. If you go on a date and somebody's a no-show, don't let that determine your value as that, oh, because they didn't go on a date with you and they didn't show up, don't allow that to crumble you. And that if people treat you bad or say things, then don't let that like influence you. Say, I'm not going to do nothing for nobody anymore. I'm not going to, I'm tired of people and I'm tired of the way I'm getting treated. Don't let it make you angry that people are who they are. It's just like the other day, I was trying to park and everyone puts their shopping carts in the middle island. I couldn't even find a parking spot because people can't just put their carts like where they belong. They put it out in the open where all these parking spots, you can't even park because now it's blocking the parking spot. Or people that don't pick up their poo, they walk their dogs and it's everywhere. And it's people that, it doesn't matter what class they are. They could be rich, whatever. Wherever you're walking, people don't want to pick up the dog poo. And sometimes they're on the phone acting like they don't see their dog making, doing their business. And they walk away from it acting like they didn't see it's done. There are like shady people all over. Just know that it doesn't matter what class. They could be rich, poor, middle class, whatever. They could be famous. There's just like shady people everywhere. Don't lose hope. Don't lose hope in humanity. Because the other day I was getting gas, and I have an SUV. I was putting gas in it, and a guy parked to get gas, and there was this gas truck that was blocking another way. He walked up to me and he asked, how much longer do you have? Because, so I'm not blocking you. So he had the decency to actually walk up to me, made the effort and said, how much more, gas, because I don't want to block you and stuff. And then he made the effort to drive backwards and make a hole for me to leave. And then I started to see that there are good people out there, just like I was hiking with my dog. And I asked somebody, if I go down this way, because my dog doesn't want to go back the other way. If I go down this way, is there any way I could go around and go back to the entrance of the park? It was going to be a long walk still. I think I was probably in the middle of the walk. If it was 6 miles, it was probably 3 miles in. But my dog didn't want to go back the other way because he already had walked through the forest, which was nice. It was beautiful and it was amazing. It was peaceful and it was visually aesthetic. And it's like they took the time to tell me exactly, just exit here, go right, and you'll hit the street and just go up. And it's gonna be wide open. It's not gonna be as scenic, but it will get you back to your car. It was like people that spend time and stuff. They give you hope for humanity, because it's not the people that before I went to the park that were cutting me off on a two-way with a solid line in a residential, and they're just cutting you off where it's like they were doing it from the moment I left home, to where they can't even cut you off, and they do. Car after car after car, and you're going past the speed limit, and they're still driving all reckless around you and just being all crazy and stuff, disrespecting everyone on the road. And then it's like you have to say reset, like you do your phone or computer, your tablet. Sometimes you need to reset. It can't always be on working. Sometimes you have to reset it and reset your mind and say, okay, the world is not bad. Most people are good. I mean, there are some bad people out there, shady people, users, and all these things, but not everyone is bad. That there are some good people with good hearts that care about you. People that are not even your family or your friends or your coworkers may care about you more. They may listen to you. They may give you advice. They may care about your dream. Just for that moment, you might have that little connection, whether in ride sharing, whether you see them in the store, you're at a casino, you're at a bar, wherever it may be, that you can meet someone that actually cares and will give you advice. One time I was at a restaurant getting a beer, and I was at the bar because we sat outside, but I wanted to get the bar to get a drink because they were busy and I could go get the drink because it was right next to the bar. And I was talking to some guy about writing and, my dream and, screenwriting and everything. And then I asked him actually before I left, I said, can you give me some words of wisdom for the road? And he said, stay true to yourself. And it was something my best friend told me, is that you're always authentic, that you're genuine. So that's something that he respects that of me, because I asked him 5 things. You could ask 5 things from anyone. What do they think of you? 5 positive things, traits that they like about you. Like, you could be honest, you could be reliable, you could be funny, whatever it may be that they see. And you could kind of see how people see you, so they don't see you in a negative light. They see you in a positive light. Like, these are 5 things. You could ask anyone. You can ask your family, people that want to be honest, your friends, co-workers, whoever you want to ask. Give me 5 things about me that you see, that you value and stuff. It's like a good exercise. It could be a good exercise, because sometimes if you want the honesty, then maybe it could be your mom. It could be the mom. Your mom will, because a lot of people don't like to share negative things, negative traits. And sometimes they will tell you your positive traits are your negative traits. They're like, oh, you need to do, that. It's like they have an opinion, but it's okay, because they help you, because the world is not in a bubble that is perfect. It's not fantasy, that you need to know certain things that you do. And if you are the problem in your relationships, if it's because you didn't heal, it's because you self-worth, self-value challenges, if you don't even respect yourself, you don't love yourself, if it's things that you keep repeating, then you have to know if it's yourself. You can't always blame everyone else. That not to take personal responsibility. If you do something, your car is messy, it's not everyone else's problem. It's not because all these things happen and now your car is messy. You spill your coffee and it's like the person that made your coffee, the barista's problem, because they didn't put the lid on better. You should have checked your lid yourself. That at the end of the day, we need to take personal responsibility, so these relationships don't work, or we keep getting into the wrong relationships, then change it. Unless you like to be treated that way. You like people to do things that make you angry, and then you exit the relationship, go into the next one, saying and telling that next person, like, oh, like, I'm so happy and blessed to be with you because this last person or this or that. Like, always blaming everyone in the past, like all these like guys or girls like treated you bad and they're just horrible people, and they didn't see like how great you are and stuff. Sometimes you have to know that, did you do enough? Are you willing to grow? You don't have to change who you are, but are you willing to grow better? If something bothers somebody that you're with, are you willing to make those changes to be with that person? If you're not, then move on. It's not a good fit. If you're thinking about yourself, if you're thinking for the relationship, like, let's talk about this. Let's have a conversation. I want this marriage to work. I want this relationship to work. Let's have this conversation. But if it's not going to work because you already exited mentally and you're just like out, you're just like disconnected, then it's not going to work, because then you're thinking about what you want for yourself, not think about the relationship. Then maybe you should be in a relationship. Maybe you should be alone for a while to see what you really want, what really makes you happy. If you need to get attention because you need everyone to see you and to see your value and see who you are and that you're just so awesome and that you're like the greatest person in the world, then, and if you're full of yourself, then yeah, they're going to be out there trying to impress people and try to make people see you, try to manipulate your image to be someone you're not. If you just focus on what you really want, what makes you happy, then maybe you will choose the right relationships, because you can't look at those relationships as being terrible and bad. If there's something if you're with somebody for many years, like, how could you view that as being terrible, or like they're just horrible people? And sometimes people lie about it because they want people to feel sorry, to self-pity, feeling sorry, but then they don't want to be honest about their side. So why are they going to be in a relationship with someone and then have kids with them and then say they're the most horrible people and they're just heartless and all that? But it's like, why are they being negative about it? Because there's something deeper inside them. If they're not going to be honest about what they saw in that person, to be willing to marry them, to commit, and to then have kids and have a life with them, and then one day they're just the horrible people and they're the devil and they're demons and they deserve to die and stuff. There has to be something that it has to be both sides, though, because if it's just one-sided, it's always that person's fault. They're the reason why all these relationships ended and they're just so abusive and they're such horrible people and they're just terrible and they're thoughtless and they have no compassion, and there has to be more to the story. And sometimes it's better to hear both sides, all sides, and not just come to conclusions that, oh yeah, you're right, like, well, I feel bad, like you deserve better and you're such a great person, but then we don't really know if they're the greatest person or good person. We don't know everything about them. We could know them from way back when we're growing up, but we don't know everything about them, because sometimes they could do things that we don't know about. They could say things, they could act a certain way, they could, do certain things that they don't notice, because it's easier for them to point the finger at someone else to say that it's that person's fault. But it's a pretty big challenge when it comes down to healing, and then self-worth, self-value. Those are the two things that I think is like why people want to be with someone is physically attractive, because they want people to see them. But sometimes it could be that they just are attracted to that person and that person is attracted to them, and it could be mutual, or one is attracted to the other and then that's what sparked it, because now that person was chasing after them, and then they finally said, okay, I'll give that person a chance, like what we see in movies and stuff. Or it could just be that they want everyone to see them, like, look at me, because I've been in all these bad relationships, and look at this guy, he's finally the right guy, he's Mr. Right. And then later on, if something happens, they're going to be crushed, because now they're putting everything into this new guy, because they didn't work out with the past guys, but they had to see something in the past guys to be with them, to be married to them, to have these relationships. So they're like married 2, 3, 4, 5 times. So who's the problem? If they're married all these times, it's always the guy. Or it could be vice versa, like that the guy is always married to these women. Now it's all these women, like women don't see him and they treat him bad and all that. So what is the truth? Sometimes people don't want to share the honest truth because they want to look like they're a victim, that they're playing the victim, or they just don't want to take personal responsibility that they're flawed as well. And we're all flawed, that we all make mistakes and we all have done things. And sometimes we have certain people that we would want to be with that have a relationship. We're not looking at every single, attractive person out there and saying like, okay, her, or like a guy's like, like thinking like all these girls can make me happy and finally make me feel like I'm someone and make me happy. Or a girl could look at all those guys like him. Like they're just looking at all these guys thinking that he can make them happy, that he could give them everything to have this perfect life. And it doesn't always work that way. So it really comes down to self-care and taking personal responsibility and healing yourself of things from the past, and maybe going to a therapist and talking about the things that bothering you, or things that you're insecure about, the things that you can't get over, or things that are bothering you about yourself. It comes down to that, because then if you talk about it, it's not like that you're going to heal in one day, in one session, but you need to talk about it and let it release the stuff. And you need to cry, then you cry. If you need to be angry, then you're angry. You go shout in the mountains. Like whatever bothers you, shout it. Like just yell it out. Let it go. Release it. And some people might say like, I want to let it go. You don't understand that I can't let it go, and you didn't live my life. You didn't go through all this pain or suffering, or like this guy was going to kill me, or this girl was going to kill me, or all these things. You know what? Like, yes, it was bad for you. That was a bad relationship for you, or you had a crisis, but we don't know everything that happened on the other side. We're only listening to you. So we don't know both sides of the story. So how can we say like, okay, that person's horrible for doing that to you? So sometimes we have to know everything, or maybe it's just something we don't want to know. Like we could help support them, but we're not going to be jumping on their bandwagon every time that somebody's like doing something bad to them, that person's horrible, because we don't even know that person. We don't know like everything about them. They could be good people, and maybe they have some bad traits or flaws like most of us have. And maybe the person that's saying that they're getting treated bad could be part of the problem too. That it takes two people to have conflict. What if somebody does silent treatment all the time? Like instead of having a conversation, they do silent treatment all the time. Then that could be abusive, because then you never fix things. Because you don't talk about what's bothering you, because that person taps out and just leaves. and then they don't want to have a discussion, and then they blame you for things, and then they manipulate you by using that silent treatment because they know that maybe you won't say certain things or do certain things because then they could just like ignore you and make you feel like you're crap, that you're a nobody, and that can hurt people too. That's abusive, and that can hurt more than physical abuse. So recognize these things. If you don't like certain things, then don't go for these people. If they're just nice at first and all that, and then they start to show signs, like recognize the red flags early on. Try to make some changes. If you don't like something, then change it. Because if you keep going in the same relationship and you keep complaining about it, then it's like you like it. And maybe you do like it. Maybe you like that drama or that conflict. And that's something that I won't judge. That's up to the person. That this conversation is about healing yourself through self-care, and self-value and self-worth is to recognize the good things that you've done in your life, your education, whatever it may be. If you didn't go to school, it doesn't make you less worthy of people that did graduate or have all this education. Recognize the things that you've done in your life, the things they're good at, the way the people you treated good, if you treat pets good. There are things that you've done, and be proud of those things. Don't wait for somebody to say that they're proud of you, that you're someone amazing. Notice it. And if you did bad things, then ask for forgiveness and forgive yourself, and don't carry it around. Sometimes some things you did that were just so horrible and that they make you feel like you're, like a evil person. But sometimes we do things at certain times because we were younger, or we just did things. Maybe we were unhappy and then we did things because we wanted other people to feel like the way we do and stuff. Like, I'm not happy, so I'm going to act a certain way and be angry at everyone and stuff. Or maybe don't take personal responsibility for things, because then when we're growing up, if you admit to being wrong, then maybe that won't, like get you points. Like, nobody wants to be wrong, but at the end of the day, you control your luck. Until the next time, value yourself, respect yourself, love yourself. Peace out.